Welcome back to Coffee with the Authors. I'm Wendelin Van Draanen, and this is Mark Parsons, and we are traditionally published authors who have started this channel to try to help emerging writers make sense and get some real-world advice about the craft and business of writing. In this episode, we're going to talk about resolutions. It's that time of year where people are thinking that they should be making resolutions. And whether you do or not, it's good to kind of consider what things that you would like to try new in the coming year. And so in this episode, we're going to talk about some resolutions that have helped us actually become productive writers.
So probably the first thing to think about is to make resolutions about things within your control. If you resolve to get an agent or get a book deal or hit list or whatever it is, those are probably going to lead to frustration simply because they're outside your control. You can do everything right and still not have that happen because it's up to somebody else. It's someone else's decision. So we want to think about things that are within our control, and that is primarily the actual writing. And the two aspects of the writing that we want to talk about today are the quantity of the writing that we do in the new year and the quality of the writing that we do.
Because sometimes when you make a resolution that's not within your control, you still feel like, well, I made this resolution and then you failed at it. That's a bad feeling. Make sure that it's something that's within your control. It'll make you feel successful. A resolution that's really helped me was to resolve to touch base with my book every day. And that didn't mean actually having to write on it every day. I mean, we have busy lives. There are all sorts of things that are competing for our time. And just because you miss a day of actual writing doesn't mean that you failed. Resolving to touch base with your book every day means that you will think about it. You will reread pages. You will do a revision of something. You will spend time researching something for your book. Anything that has to do with moving the process along that'll help get your brain back into the story and back into feeling what's coming next.
It can really be helpful if you're basically have no time to work on your book.
Yeah.
Is while you're doing something else, just to think about it. In other words, you're driving to work, you're doing the dishes, you're mowing the lawn, you're folding the laundry, you're going for a run, whatever you're doing. Think about your book, think about your story, think about what's going to happen next, and kind of play it in your mind, and maybe you'll find those little tiny aha moments of how to improve your story. Anything you can do to keep the story in your brain is going to be good for you when you finally do have time to sit down and actually write.
And that all contributes to the fulfilling of the resolution to touch base with your book every day.
Here's something that has more to do with kind of quality than quantity or schedule, which is you can resolve to dig deep with your story, which means you can take a scene you've already written and revise it and try to go over it and make it really sing, make the emotion really ring true to the reader. You can cut some fat from your story.
Resolve to cut fat.
Right.
How many of us have had that as a New Year's resolution?
Exactly. Resolve to lose a little weight. Lose a little weight in your story. And finally, you can add emotion wherever possible. Just go through every single scene and think, does this scene convey some feeling into the reader's mind? Because really, people read books, especially fiction. They read fiction not really to learn something, but more to kind of feel something. And if we can add emotion, really dig deep and add emotion to our story, that generally gives them that kind of feeling of gravitas overall.
So that's like resolve to amp up the emotional connection, would you say?
Yeah, I call it digging deep, but yeah,
okay.
It's
okay, you have a shovel and I'll just have my Kleenex box.
I'm a shovel guy.
Oh yeah.
Jeez.
Another one, and this one is super hard, is resolve to be more productive with your writing. And the reason that's super hard is because of the internet.
Yeah.
The internet, man, it'll just suck your brain right out of your skull. So resolve to spend less time watching cute cat videos. We all need some cat videos or puppy videos.
Dog videos.
We definitely do need those in our lives. But not to the extent that it takes away from your writing time. So resolve to focus more on your writing. And if you find yourself going down that scrolling of adorable cat videos, is that really what you want for your life? Or would you rather have a book by the end of next year? That's a big one. It's a hard one, but I think that you can do it. We tell each other that a lot. You can do it.
And here's something I've talked about before, but it actually is good for if you're looking for like very specific granular resolutions, is resolve to set your own assignments. What that really means is you give yourself an assignment as though it were a work assignment or a school assignment. In other words, it's important. It's important for your job or your education that you do it. And you say, I will finish the rough draft of my book by July 1st, or I will finish chapter 7 by the end of the week, or whatever it is. And then you kind of hold yourself to that as though it was a work assignment, because this is within your control. This doesn't depend on anybody but you. You really have to kind of hold your own feet to the fire, because no one else is going to hold your feet to the fire.
And I think that the easiest way to hold your feet to the fire in a big project like a novel is to have those small steps that you take forward. So if you say, I resolve to write a book this year, that's probably not going to happen. Yeah. But if you say, I've resolved to write 30 pages this month. I don't know, something that's manageable. Do it into very small steps, because the longest journey begins with those little initial steps. So I would say break it up and have the big goal. The big goal is maybe have your book finished by the end of the year. But to get there, you need to do the little goals. We all remember our college papers and things that we were required to do, our term papers, and you put it off and you put it off and you put it off. And then it just doesn't work. If you can manage to do it in little increments, then you'll get there easily. But if you try to do it all at once, it's just too hard. What I think is a really good resolution is to read more. And read, don't just read in your field, read broadly, because it'll broaden the way that you write. It'll give you more ideas outside of kind of where you're thinking now. But do spend a lot of time reading in, your genre, your field. Part of that reading, I would say, is like resolve to read your own pages the last thing before you go to bed. The last thing you put in your brain is your own story. Your subconscious will help you through the night. It'll be one of those like kind of magical things that happen. So if I could give you any advice today, it would be resolve to read your own pages 15 minutes before bed.
My final resolution would be to write for the joy of the craft.
Yeah.
Especially if you pay attention, to what's going on online and you listen to podcasts, et cetera, et cetera. There's always a lot of kind of turmoil and tumult in the publishing industry. That's nothing new. That will go on that way forever. And really, the thing that we have control of is our writing and our joy of the craft. And just we have control over our mastery of the craft. So really, the goal is to enjoy the process, because if you enjoy the process, you will do it more. If you do it more, you'll get better at it. If you get better at it, you enjoy it. If you enjoy it, you do it more. It becomes this kind of upward spiral of happiness and productivity and mastery or skill, or whatever. I don't really like to use the word talent, but your skill at writing will improve the more you do it, and you will enjoy it more. And all those things kind of all wrap up together. The funny thing is, focusing on that is more likely to get you published than focusing on just getting agented and getting published, because the thing that publishers are looking for is they're looking for well-written stories.
Well, that's it for this episode. Thanks for stopping in to see us. We're glad you did. We hope you got something useful out of this. Remember, dream big, work hard, don't give up, resolve to come back and see us.
And most importantly, resolve to keep writing.
Oh, thank you.
Mr.
Clever.
Mr. Clever.
Clever.